Brought to you by Alman Auctions, the worldwide leader in antique tractor auctions.
This is a John Deere 8010, and it's the first four-wheel drive tractor that John Deere ever produced. And it was made in the 59 and the 60 when they came out with them. And they made about 40 8010s, and in 64 they called them back in and changed the transmissions and a number of other things on the tractor, and they were out with the 20 series of tractors, and they retitled those tractors as 8020s. This tractor was made, and it was put on a semi, covered with canvas, because at that time John Deere case and so forth was spying on each other. As I understand, it was shipped to Montana and then used there, and then brought back to the factory where it was used in the yard at that time. In 69, John Deere made an agreement with Wagner Company out in Washington, I believe, where they had already been making four-wheel drive tractors, but especially for the forestry business. They were quite active in that and in the industrial end of it. But John Deere made a deal with them, and that they would sell the Wagner tractor under the John Deere name. And they had the two models, WA14, which is this one here, and they only really sold 32 of these WA14s. And it was a good tractor, good engine, good transmission. In fact, Wagner is one that I believe was credited for how you had the oscillating front end and rear end, which was the standard of the industry after that. Then this would be the WA17, and would be the first of the 28 that John Deere sold as the John Deere Wagners. And again, I state that there's a good tractor. Most of them were all used out in the Western Plains and Canada, a lot of them in Montana, where they were used, and quite popular tractor in the Montana, Dakota area. Well, then John Deere was ready to come into production of their 20 series tractors, and this being the 7020, and it's the first 7020, serial number 1 or 0 really. And now you have a tractor that has a John Deere engine, John Deere transmission, John Deere rear axles, and so on and so forth. So you actually have the first tractor in a four-wheel drive that is all John Deere or major John Deere production tractor, and this would be the first one of that. Then the disappointing part about the 7020 was probably they wanted more power, and that's when they came out then right after the 7020 with the 7520, which then gave them the power that the farmers would want at that time. And the 75 was a tractor that these prairie farmers, or whatever you might want to call them, appreciated the tractor, liked the tractor, because it had the power and the uniqueness of the tractor, the handling of it and so forth was really good, and they liked it. Well, it came out with the new generation 2, second generation, and that was in the 8430. And this here is the first 8430, and the tractor, when we acquired it, was in poor condition, and had a lot of engine work, a lot of cab work, and so on and so forth with it. But again, it was a number 1, and again, there's a party that called us about it, and he said he was told that he should contact us because we were the ones that would appreciate it and get it in the collection. Well, you continue on, and the next tractor has been the 40 series. We do not have the 8440. The 8440 party that a friend of mine in Osceola, Wisconsin, tried to track down the 8440 and found that it was shipped to Minnesota, and the tractor was lost in a fire and scrapped. So the 8440, I guess, will never be found, but probably the first 8460 will be out there. Then you had the first 8450 here, and this tractor, a good friend in Iowa, western Iowa, called me and said that the dealer had traded it in, and he bought the tractor for me out in, it was actually southwestern Minnesota that the tractor was found or traded in. The way you look at it, we might be fortunate that we have 6 of the first 7 four-wheel drive tractors being the first of their production model. Unfortunate in some ways because of the room that they take and the cost that you have involved with them. But we do have the first 8010, and being the only 8010 in existence. Then you have the Wagner, the WA14, and then the WA17, the first John Deere WA17, then the first 7020, the first 7520, the first 8430, and the first 8450. So that's quite a collection. I said I'd like to get a photo of all these tractors out, and I have 1,000 prancing horses all in one area here.